We are live on a Thursday night, right before Thursday night football. We couldn't leave you boys hanging without some picks. I am Guns Picks, and welcome to the DadBodd podcast, episode number 98, I think we're at right now. And I am joined with another one of the dads, another brother of mine. Ooh, the Vivas are cracked and cold and on ice. I love it. At Punisher Picks. At Pun Picks on Twitter. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, dude? I feel like I've been gone for a couple weeks, so I got to get back in the rhythm of podcasting.
And
You didn't think I was going to show up. He was so worried.
I know
that he was going to have to do this by himself. Little did he know.
I don't mind you guys all staring at me, and I can be the center stage. I do want to say this.
Go ahead.
I want to thank the Cappers Collective because I am consistently the number one guy on their show, on their newsletter. And they just told me I was, for free picks, I was plus 33.5 units.
Jesus.
And that is just given out for free. So today, decided to spend a little money. And now I'm harnessing my inner macho man. And these are the macho man glasses. I feel powerful. I feel like I belong in the NWO. And this is what I'm going to be wearing for all my shows now, unless I start losing. Then I'll retire the glasses. But I'm not going to retire the glasses now, so you're going to have to deal with this for a little bit. I'm getting crazy. I'm feeling good. Why don't we just get into some picks, because we have to talk about Thursday night football. So Thursday night football, we have what I call reverting back to the old trend of two piss poor teams that nobody wants to watch unless you happen to be a Washington fan, or there's Bear fans out there. They're diehards, even though when their team stinks, they still follow them. And the same thing goes with the Washingtons. Then I live in the area. I see this. I see the apparel, and I'm kind of shocked that they still wear it, but I respect it. All right, so you have the Washington Redskins. Oh, I said Redskins. Commodores going against.
I'll fix that in post.
On the road. Yeah, I'm going to get canceled for that one. On the road to Soldier Field playing the Chicago Bears. Now you have Washington coming off a 4-game losing streak, but they've competed versus non-divisional opponents. Let's talk about that for a second. Very close games, -2 point differential, plus 41 net yard average. Now you have Chicago, heavy run team. They love to run the ball, 157 yards per game, 4.9 yards per carry. Washington did give up a lot of rushing yards in the first 2 weeks of the season, but they made adjustments, and they actually fixed their run defense. So you actually look in the last 3 weeks, they only gave up 2.4 yards per carry to Philly, 2.1 yards per carry to Dallas, 3.3 yards per carry to Tennessee. And you know who they have in the backfield, King Henry. Now go to the Chicago passing game. Absolutely abysmal. Absolutely non-existent and absolutely dull and boring. They only average 117 yards per game passing through the air. Justin Fields, 55.7 completion rate, 3 touchdowns, 4 INTs. That is not what you want to see or hear from your starting quarterback. Washington's issues are more predicated on turning over the ball. So if Carson Wentz can take care of the ball, not throw it to the other defenders, they're -1 turnover ratio per game right now. So if they can fix that element, continue the success of stopping the run. Looking at Chicago playing at home, they've only played 2 home games this season. They played the 49ers week 1 in the hurricane of all monsoons game. That was basically anything goes in that game. Doesn't matter how good that team is. And then you have them playing Houston at home, and Houston almost beat them. And Houston, not a good team. Also, look at the home team in this matchup: 2-8 against the spread, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. Washington 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings. So their ability to stop the run is going to be the key here for Washington. The line is actually moving in the direction of the Commodores. Commanders. I like calling them the Commodores. I call them everything. I call them the Commies, the Commodores, the Commanders. I think this is the perfect spot for Washington to get right. They need a win, and I think they can do it versus non-divisional opponents, and they probably should be faded against divisional opponents. So give me Washington -1 as the road favorite.
Yeah, that's a common pick. I know you and I think all three of you guys, you, Locke, and the odds fellow all agree with that, right?
Yeah, we talked about it this morning in our Slack chat. And if you guys want to join our Slack.
Yeah, I know it's a 2-unit play for Locke. What did you release it as?
1.5.
1.5. Okay.
Yep.
So we're pretty highly leveraged on that game. So we're going to be chatting that up. So click the link, come hang out with us. We're going to be watching the game, chatting. Small echo. That's probably
small echo. That's coming from probably. I can hear it too, but we'll deal with it. It's very faint.
Hey, what do you think about the total?
So looking at the total, it's kind of. I think it opened at 40, drove down to 38. I think from an under standpoint, it's kind of lost value. I really don't
the over. I kind of like the over. I just placed a half-unit bet on the over.
Okay.
Sort of as a, I don't know, weird Thursday night football, color rush uniform game. I could see couldn't you see a 21-20 game? 21-17. That wouldn't get there, but that would be right at the number.
I feel like every time Washington plays like on a Thursday night in prime time, like the over kind of catches on a weird field goal play, and it'll be like 23-20 or something like that. I can see that happening. But I don't want to play with the primetime under trend right now. And I think a lot of people will think of Chicago and think of Washington together as an under team,
right?
If they're playing each other. So maybe the over is probably the better take. Because
it's a contrarian play, but I think I think it's worth putting a half unit on. So that's what I did. I went over 38.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna get some props from Gilles in.
Yeah, Gilles is in the building. I want to do a quick ad read for our beautiful sponsors, and then we'll get Gilles in the group because he is on a time limitation. This podcast is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. All right, this podcast is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. Viva Tequila Seltzers is a refreshing and drinkable hard seltzer, 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and 4.5 ABV. And you can see Pun drinking it as we speak. Viva is a perfect drink for your post-game celebrations as it was created for the active lifestyle in mind. Viva flavors their tequila seltzers because flavor is the spice of life, and they like their drinks with a little bit of a kick, just like we like to live our lives. Viva flavors pairs perfectly with their artisanal Blanco tequila for a subtle and refreshing drink. Their belief is to live long, live well, and live it up. Hashtag Viva Up, and check them out on Twitter at Viva Seltzers. But let's get to our guest right now. You may know him from the Action Network. You may know him from Touchdown Town that's played every Sunday morning. You may know him as GDog5000 on Twitter. We're going to bring him into the chat now. He is a friend of ours, and he is probably the most recurring guest on our show. So please welcome once again GDog5000.
All right.
Gallant. What's going on, my friend?
It's good to see you guys. We're always just on text for like to kind of put a little peek behind the curtain here. We talk a lot in text threads. We just don't really get to talk that much, very much in person. So it's a very welcome change. We got the guns.
The whole crew's here.
We do. So Thursday night football, we got the Washington. I'm going to still call them the Commodores. I'm just going to keep
them the Durs. I call them the Durs.
The commies. I think people still call them the other name that we can't say anymore. So this game right here, what are your thoughts from a prop perspective? Because you are a prop capper. What are the I guess the edges for this game? I know you don't have a lot of bets on this one, more for Sunday. Mm-hmm. We did discuss this, but I want to talk strictly about Thursday night football.
Yeah, sure. I think with this game, it's once you dig into the numbers, the weaknesses are fairly obvious. Like, for example, Washington has given up 7 touchdowns to wide receivers this year. They're really getting beat by the pass a lot. But then you look at Chicago's offense, and offensively, they stink as far as passing the ball. So that kind of puts you in a position of where you're like, okay, because I've seen a lot of people talk about whether or not they're going to take the under or the over on Justin Fields passing yards because it's so low. It's like 180 yards. Maybe it might even be up to about 200 at most at certain books. But for me, when I'm looking at this prop, I'm just like, I feel like most quarterbacks could fall ass backwards into that kind of number. And especially with Washington's like secondary as well, I'm a little worried about that because their top corner, he's out for this game. I think he actually asked for a trade, William Gay III. And that just kind of puts me in a position where I'm thinking like, okay, I think Chicago should be able to move the ball. And that's the other thing too, is when we were talking about the primetime under trend right now, I feel like it's one thing when we apply it to Colts Broncos. Both of their defenses, I think we can agree that they're above average. These defenses are not good. Like it's so far this season, like the Chicago defense, some of the games I feel like they've gotten masked as far as like what their capability is. You look at week 1, like every time you try to look at their stats, you almost have to like take out the monsoon game to actually appropriate what their stats are. And I don't know, man. I feel like neither of these defenses are on the Broncos Colts level. I feel like they could just allow points more so than scoring points, if that makes sense. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like this game does lend itself to betting some props. But honestly, guys, like there's just not a ton of value as well. Like there's value there, but it's like, oh, do you really trust Justin Fields to throw a touchdown to Darnell Mooney? I know Darnell Mooney leans all the stats. He has all the stats. He has all the snaps. He basically from a statistical perspective, he should be in an average offense plus 175, maybe plus 200. You know what I mean? But because of Justin Fields being his quarterback, he's getting bumped up to like plus 320 and plus 350. And you think to yourself, is that enough? Like, I don't know if that's enough. Like, I feel like, yes, he's going to lead yards after catch, but really you're betting on probably a deep bomb play for him to score more so than actually just betting on volume, like with some of the guys that you can consistently bet in these markets. So to get us started from a prop standpoint, I just went right off the long shot for a long shot touchdown bet. I took JD McKissick. I was getting him at plus 600 at FanDuel. And part of the reason why I took him is just overall volume. Like he's right now behind Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler in receptions. And he's been getting some red zone receptions as well. The Brian Robinson story is great. I'm just not sure if they're going to trust him in pass coverage situations and pass blocking situations yet. Again, we saw him very limited work last week, so I don't think you can just say, okay, he's going to be out there for every snap. So Antonio Gibson kind of in the doghouse right now. So I think JD McKissick could probably be somebody that could be able to just, poach a touchdown in the end zone at plus 600. That's really what those odds are. And, the Bears have given up 8 touchdowns on the ground. So that's the other thing too, where it's like, all right, if he's going to be out there, a quick little swing pass to him or Samuel is another guy I was looking at from a touchdown perspective, but McKissick was the value play where I was like, well, he's still playing more snaps than Antonio Gibson. And right now, Robinson, I'm just not sure if he's really all the way back from that workload, like from that injury, gunshot wound, whatever you want to call it. So, that's one of the reasons why to start us off for touchdown props, I didn't really bet a ton for this game because again, the total is trending downward. I think it's still going to be a struggle to get over to 40, but I could see it at the 42 point mark. And we all just are like, we should have took the over or punt. I guess you already have a half unit on it. So you've already outdid us there, but
pizza money, as Guns would say.
Yeah, really good.
You guys, I'll never let that down. Hey, you know what? That was a very active tweet, by the way.
Hey, that's what it's about. Man,
I'm all about that.
Man, I see what's his name? Justin Fields, 169 and a half.
Yeah, like the pass, and again, it's very
crazy,
indicative.
right?
And even just the pass attempts, if you actually look, it's probably much lower too. They actually have the pass attempts for Carson Wentz around 30 to 32, and he's went over 40 pass attempts in 3 of the games. And this is the one thing when I was talking about it with my friend here, because I'm on a second prop, I'm on Carson Wentz to throw an interception tonight at minus 120.
That's where
I was going to ask you about Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
I was going to ask that.
Well, the popular narrative right now, if you just go on anybody's timeline, if you're a regular in gambling Twitter, is that Carson Wentz is awesome on Thursday Night Football. Okay. I don't know if he's awesome right now. Like he was awesome on Thursday Night Football then. I don't know if he's awesome now.
Right.
Interceptions in 4 or 5 games, man. And, the Bears, they've been actually a little bit more opportunistic than other defenses. They actually do have 5 interceptions this year, 4 in 5 games. Like basically, like there's one game they didn't force an interception, but the other 4 games they did. And I wouldn't bet it solely on this trend. But again, the trend to me is indicative of just kind of what we're seeing right now in prime time is that road quarterbacks are just struggling on these short weeks. And again, it's all team by team basis. But at the same time, we've seen 16 primetime games so far. 12 of the road quarterbacks have thrown an interception. I think it's just going into that new environment and, on the short week. And sometimes, again, it's circumstantial because, again, you look at some of these quarterbacks that we've seen on Thursday or even just prime times in general, it's been pretty awful. So, I just feel like right now, like at the minus 120, again, I don't really like paying that much juice on interceptions. And I've kind of diverted from betting touchdown. Like I still bet touchdowns mainly, but interceptions and plus money interception props is kind of what I've been gravitating to. But every time we get into these primetime situations and I see a quarterback like Carson Wentz, especially because over the last 3 weeks, when you look at his interception prop odds, they were at minus 145, minus 165, minus 175 in another spot against the Eagles. And in minus 175 spot, he didn't throw an interception against the Eagles. Whereas now we're getting it around like a very short line at minus 120 on the road in primetime. Like, I'm not just going to think to myself like, oh, okay, he's 6-0 in primetime. It's like, yeah, but 4 of those were with the Eagles. And one of them last year, I don't even think he had more than 25 pass attempts. He just basically handed off to Jonathan Taylor the entire time.
And you can be good in primetime and still throw an interception.
Absolutely. I think Carson Wentz embodies that.
Right. I mean, he's going to take chances. We know that. He's going to throw it up when he's under pressure. We know that. So I think it's a good bet. I can get it at plus minus 140, so I'm not going to take it. That's against your rules.
It's a little much. Right? Again, like I remember in the Super Bowl, like I bet a minus 140. It didn't feel great, but it felt good to win it because I knew it was going to happen because it was Matt Stafford to throw an interception at minus 140. And I was like, all right, it's the last game of the year. I don't want to leave any in the chamber. Man, Matthew Stafford is definally going to throw.
All bets are off. All bets are off in the Super Bowl.
But that's like one of the circumstances that I would talk about where it's like, okay, I'll allow a minus 140 bet if that's like kind of like one of the slew of bets that you're doing. But just like, in a given week over and over again, betting these minus 140s, like I track all the interception odds, man. And the guys at minus odds, yes, they do hit, but there's a lot of guys in negative profits for the year. And they've been at like minus 160, minus 175. Like if you bet Trevor Lawrence, for example, every week, you'd still be down probably about 1.5 units.
Who's the most profitable guy right now for the interception?
It would be Aaron Rodgers, just around 4.6 units because Aaron Rodgers is he's the white whale for interception props because they always put him over plus 200 every week. And there's no other guy that they'll put over that. And he's thrown interceptions in 3 of 5 games. So, the profits just add up. Yeah. But the guys that are the most consistent, the Matt Ryans of the world, the Matthew Staffords, Lamar Jackson is another one that's actually been fairly profitable week to week. So there's guys that you can kind of take advantage of. But for the year right now, like plus money props, like on those, like they're still hitting around like 55%, which is not bad, but at the same time, I expect the other shoe to drop on that spec. But I do think as well that there's going to be more opportunity to be able to bet these quarterbacks in prime time just because I don't know what it is. They just love to have brain farts on the biggest stage. And I have no problem taking advantage of it.
Well, we know we have you for just a short time here, but we appreciate you always coming on. You never say no to us. And so I guess recap for just Thursday night football for people that are just joining right now.
Sure.
Your I guess you said you had 2 props that you're tracking today. You do lean on the Carson Wentz interception, the anytime touchdown with McKissick. Is there anything else that I'm missing there?
No, those are the 2 bets that I have in tonight. And to be honest, on the Chicago side, I mean, if I was going to bet a touchdown on that side, I would probably be looking at like somebody way down the line. Like I would be looking at Equanimeous St. Brown or something like that, who plays the same amount of snaps nearly as Darnell Mooney, but is paying 500 or plus 600 to score a touchdown instead. Because again, there's no rhyme or reason of where these passes are going from Justin Fields, and there's so few of them that I'd rather just bet on a fluky thing than expect the.
Well, what's crazy is his completions are like 13.5.
It's low.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that's Wildcat basically. He's what I mean. He's like he might as well be a running back at that point.
I think it's hilarious every time you come on the show. I think you're just basically kissing my ass because you always pick Notre Dame guys for your anytime touchdown.
Honestly,
because
it's
they're always such long shots, Guns.
Well, I think it's honestly I pick
fine.
I picked
Yes,
the
you're
Notre
right.
Dame guy. You see my content and you're like, oh shit, I'm coming, bring him on, kind of thing. And then I end up like being like, right, it was a Notre Dame guy. I didn't even think about it.
I think you threw like 3 out there last time you were on, and you just threw
Yeah.
another one. He goes, Eileen, who's played for Notre Dame? Oh yeah, that guy. I was like,
Yeah.
pick Kyron Williams. He's behind me at some point.
I mean, I didn't say Cole Kmet. I mean, at least, so.
But I'm glad to have you on. I know you have a hard out on this one. So I guess promote everything you're doing. We know you're on the Action Network, but we got to promote everything that you're doing. So the floor is yours.
All right, I'll make this quick. All right, so every week I do a show called The Touchdown Show on the Action Network YouTube channel. That is basically where I give out my best touchdown bets of the day for 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern games. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at GDog5000. You'll find all of my action content there, written content, video content, and as well follow me on the Action app. You can use the Action app to be able to download and use it for your action tracker and betting your bets as well. So, and then on top of that, I do podcasts for the Action Network on the Action Network podcast. You want to subscribe to that. There's so many different things that we're touching right now and so many different tools and stuff that we're developing at Action Network. So head over to actionnetwork.com and check out all the good work that we're doing.
Love it.
Beautiful. Thanks for joining us, Jill. And we'll see you in the chat later on.
I'm sure you will.
Some of my touchdown props. Peace. All right. So I guess we're down to, you have some picks?
Yeah, I mean, I put some hockey plays out. Hockey just started.
Well, hold up. I want to make sure we do this properly. So I have a college play for Friday.
Go ahead.
You have a play, whether it be tonight or tomorrow.
I have a play. Yeah, play tonight.
But we like to call this thing the DadBodd's Capper Breakdown.
It is time for the DadBodd's Capper Breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
DadBodd's Capper Break. Why does my camera do that? DadBodd's Capper Breakdown is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. I'll start with you, Pun.
Yeah, man.
What you cooking?
It's hockey season, and I'm really excited. So I don't cap football. I leave that to the professionals, Guns, Lock, and Odds, and Jill, obviously.
Just call me Macho Guns.
But macho Guns.
You gotta call me the Macho Guns. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I put up. So I'm starting some systems with puck lines in hockey, and so I released 3 plays today. And the one I'll give out on the show is the Los Angeles Kings -1.5 plus 155 versus Seattle. So it starts at 10:30 Eastern, so it's a late game, plenty of time to get down. It's just a half unit play. Follow me on Action Network or on Twitter at Pics. Action Network is pun free. And I'll post all those plays on there. And then obviously we're starting up the NHL Chase. No plays yet, but join our Slack and get involved. We had a hell of a season last year. I think it was like plus 60 something units for hockey. Hopefully, you never know if that's going to happen again. But hockey has always been something that I love betting. I don't think a lot of people invest enough time in it. Not something you have to watch a lot of, which is nice as well. You can still watch football and bet hockey. But yeah, come have fun with the guys. We'll teach you how to bet hockey, give you all the tools you need, spreadsheets, trackers, notifications over every play, and then we'll just have some fun. So put a little money. I wouldn't say pizza money because that's going to make Guns mad, but let's put a little cash on the Kings -1.5 tonight versus the Seattle Kraken, who should be bad again, and Los Angeles should be good.
What's the size of this bet?
I put a half unit on it.
There we go.
I put a half unit on it.
So it's not pizza money.
It's not pizza money. Not for me, but it could be for some people, I guess.
I just want to give my guy 29. He says take Brighton Hove Albion money line plus 130. I told him to post picks in the chat, and my God, did he post a pick? So if you
All
like
right.
soccer, there you go. Go find that one.
We need more soccer. I love soccer.
We love the
cappers.
kicks. Hey, join Slack. There's a link in my thing. It's
Yes.
free. Just come in.
Yeah, come
Just
in, post
and
it.
join.
We have a place for you guys to post your plays and keep your own record. We're not competitive. We're here to have fun, stress free.
Yeah. All vibes. Vibes high in that chat, man.
Man,
we were
it's really
cooking last
grown.
night.
It's really grown. We have like 60 something people in there now, so it's a lot of fun. Guns, what do you have cooking?
Yep. So let's talk about tomorrow night. So like Thursday, I did post a play. I'm on Temple tonight, so you guys got that one, and I didn't realize that thing started at 7:00 and 7:30. So my apologies for dropping that. I think 5 minutes before the game. That is my fault. But I want to talk about tomorrow. I want to talk about Navy, and I want to talk about SMU. So this is a really good spot for SMU. Let me tell you why. Navy coming off a big win last week against Tulsa, 53-21, just absolutely dominated this team, plus 181 net yards. They ran the ball for a whopping, because it is Navy and they run the triple option, 455 yards of total offense, 6.6 yards per carry. Now let's look at SMU for a second. They've lost 3 straight games. But they lost to some good opponents here. You can take it with a grain of salt with Maryland, I guess, but that is technically a P5 team. But they lost to TCU. TCU is a juggernaut in the Big 12.
Very good.
They got a tough test ahead of them with Oklahoma State.
Really tough.
UCF, and they're playing today, and UCF is a good team as well. So in all those 3 games, they were plus 81 net yards to Maryland, minus 11 net yards to TCU, minus 8 net yards to UCF. But take the score out of everything. They were competing from a yardage perspective against some really good teams. Now they go against this Navy team. Now let's look at the SMU pass offense. Their strength is passing the ball. They put up 355 yards per game through the air. Tanner Mordecai, 1,680 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 INTs this year. Their O-line is really good at protecting the quarterback, only a 3.5 sack rate. So I always look at see if you can actually dominate the defensive line for Navy. Now, Navy has had their struggles versus passing offense. That's kind of their Achilles heel, so to speak. So looking at the passing offenses they've faced this year, 415 yards given up to Memphis, 267 yards given up to ECU, and 284 given up to Tulsa. And Tulsa and ECU are probably just above average, but the Memphis one really stuck out to me. Memphis put up 415 yards of passing, and they crushed them in that game. Now SMU is coming off a bye week. So when you're playing a triple option team and you get a bye week before you play that option team, if you have a good coach, you prepare an extra week for the triple option. That's going to give you an extra advantage against Navy, especially when you're coming off 3 straight losses. Looking at the trends on this one, in the home team in this matchup is 5-0 against the spread. The favorite is 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings. This kind of all falls into SMU. The line's sitting at minus 13 for a reason. This is a team that has lost 3 straight games. They're going against Navy. And if it was a Navy type of play, this line to me would be a possession game. It would be -7, 6.5, but it's sitting at minus 13. The line opened at minus 11, jumped to minus 13 very quick because I think the Sharps really jumped on that one. You have an SMU team that's hungry for a win. 3 losses in a row versus good teams. They had the bye week, so they had time to prepare. It just kind of fits the check boxes for me here. It's not my top play. It's not a I don't like it, I love it play, but it is a 2-unit play for me. Give me SMU minus 13 as the play. But that is going to be it. So
I like
to recap.
I like it a lot.
I have Washington -1 tonight. That game starts in 15 minutes?
Yep.
And I have SMU -13 tomorrow. I think this is a 7:30 game. Yes, it is.
Yes,
7:30 tomorrow night. And Punisher,
Los Angeles Kings.
You have the Kings. Your boy
let's go.
says, I'll be at Kings game for sure, and I'm tailing. Let's
Tweet
go.
us some pictures.
Hell yeah, man. Join the Slack. Links in my bio, buddy. So that's going to do it for DadBodd's episode 98. Quick hitter for Thursday night football, but we want to make sure we give you out the picks. Hope you like the glasses, and if you don't like it, deal with it.
Enjoyed it, Guns.
These things
Happy
are
to be back.
freaking fire. Thanks for joining me, Pun. You're the man.
Cheers.
Get the Viva in there. That's going to do it. Good luck with your picks. Let's keep cashing, and I'll see you tomorrow night, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and the Shark and the Gun will be back. Trust me. Peace.
Peace.